Hello friends, this is Harsha ma'am over here and we are doing the science. Today we are going to start on with a new lesson and that new lesson is gravitation. Now, what is the meaning of the word gravitation? I think you know the basic famous story of Newton that he was sitting under a tree where he saw one apple falling down. Once that apple fall down, he didn't pick up and ate. He thought, why it fall only down? Why didn't it went up? That was what he thought. And on the basis of that, he gave the law of gravitation. You already know that anything can not remain floating in the air because Earth's gravity constantly pulls it towards itself. That's the reason we cannot fly. Okay, and the thing that is going on in the space is totally opposite. In space, there is no gravity. In many movies you might have seen, or many places in the television you might have seen, how the astronauts are floating in the space. How is this possible? This is possible because there is no gravity over there. While on the earth there is gravity. The moon is moving around the earth because of gravity. The earth is moving around the sun because of the gravitational force of the sun. Not only earth, all the planets are moving around the sun because of its strong gravitational force. Each and every planet is having its own gravitational force. Some might be half, some might be 1/3 of the earth, some might be 6 to 10 times more than the earth. So, in today's session, and from now, the lesson that we are going to carry out is this, which is gravitation. In this particular lesson, gravitation, we are going to discuss how the Earth's gravity is affecting everything other and how the forces and everything are changing because of this gravitational force. First, I want to tell you about this law of gravitation. What is this law of gravitation? The law of gravitation states that every object in the universe, whole of the universe, is attracting every other object with some force. Okay, every object in the universe, in whole of the universe, every object in the universe is attracting every other object with some kind of force. And this force is depending on the mass of the two particular systems and the distance between the two particular systems. Let's understand how it is. First, we will note the law. We are doing physics. In that physics, we are doing chapter 3, that is gravitation. This is the lesson. The very first thing we are discussing right now is the law of gravitation. What is the law of gravitation? Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. That means that whatever is in this particular room, the AC, the projector, the camera, that is attracting me and I am attracting them. But it doesn't mean that because of that attraction, like it will come to me. Because this is not happening because of each and individual is having its own particular mass. Okay, there are few other factors also. Let's have first a look at the law. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional. This force is. Now the three criterias. First, learn this much. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. Say it with me, come on, quick, loudly. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. Now this force is depending on what? It is directly proportional to the product of the mass. Okay, what it is directly proportional to the product of the mass. Second, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. What it is inversely proportional to? Square of the distance between them. That when we are going to consider right now how is the arrangement, then I will explain you. And the third one, the third criteria on which it depends is it is acting along the line joining their centers. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. What is the direction of the force? It is acting along the line that is joining the centers. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. And this force is acting along the line joining their centers. Once again, every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. And this force is acting along the line which is joining the centers. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and where it is acting in the line which is joining their centers. Law, so you should know word to word. Okay, so what you have to do right now? Today you have to try out to say this whole law without seeing and send me the video, not the audio clip. Because if you will send the audio clip, then what will happen? You can see and speak it. That's not allowed. You have to send me compulsory the video clip. And this is compulsory for all. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and it is acting along the line which is joining their centers. Now let's have a look at it. How is the system? There are two particular objects. One object is having the mass, say m1, another one, and suppose its center is say C1 over here. We are having another particular object with center C2. The distance between them is suppose say R. Mass of this one is m1 and mass of this one is m2. So, the force over here on mass m1 will act in this direction, F1. On m2 it will act in this direction, F2. Okay? I hope it's clear. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. And where is the force acting? It is acting on the line which is joining their centers. So I hope that this is clear. This concept is done. Okay. Now we are going to try to derive the law of gravitation basic formula by using this concept. As per the law of gravitation, as per the law of gravitation, the force that is acting between them, force is directly proportional to product of mass. That is F proportional to, force is directly proportional to m1, m2. Force is the first criteria. Force is directly proportional to the product of the mass. So I can write F proportional to product means, meaning of the word product is multiplication. Okay. Force is directly proportional to product of the mass. What is the mass of the first one? m1. What is the mass of the second body? m2. So what is F proportional to? m1, m2. As per the law of gravitation, force is directly proportional to the product of mass. That is F proportional to m1, m2. Force is directly proportional to the product of mass. So, F is proportional to m1, m2. Second, force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. That is, force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Force is inversely means 1 upon proportional to. Inversely means if one is increasing, other one will decrease. Okay. Directly means one is increasing, another one is increasing. Inversely means 1 upon. Inversely, whenever you are having at that time, if one is increasing, another one has to decrease. Okay. If one is increasing, another one will decrease. They are having opposite relation. So, force is inversely proportional to square of distance between them. So, force is inversely. So, 1 upon proportional to square of distance. If the distance is r, what will be the square of it? R square. So here you have F proportional to 1 upon r square. That is the second equation. Once again, as per the law of gravitation, force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, means you have to multiply the content, multiply both the mass. Next is, force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So F is proportional to 1 by r square. Force is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So F proportional to 1 by r square. Writing both the equations together. That means together when you are writing 1 and 2. What do you have? F proportional to m1 m2 upon r square. That means force is proportional to m1 m2 upon r square. Okay, once again, together we are writing first and second equation. So, F is proportional to m1 m2, F proportional to 1 by r square. Together when you write m1 m2 and r square, what do you get? You get F proportional to m1 m2 by r square. I hope up till here it's clear. Very easy. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, and it is acting along the line which is joining their centers. So F proportional to m1 m2, F proportional to 1 by r square. Together when you write the equation, you have F proportional to m1 m2 upon r square. Till here, I think you have understood. Okay. Now, I am going to remove this proportionality sign. Once I remove this proportionality sign, what do I have? F is equals to G m1 m2 upon r square. What is the G over here? Over here, G is universal gravitational constant. The name itself says that G is a universal gravitational constant. What is the meaning of that word? Universal gravitational constant. In whole of the universe, wherever you go, the value of G will remain fixed. Wherever we go, in whole of the universe, the value of this capital G, always remember this G you have to keep capital, because now in the picture small g will also come. Notation is fixed for each and every particular quantity in particular physics. So please do not change it. Here you cannot write small g, because just because you will say that ma'am I like small g, I will write small g over here. No. Capital G means compulsory you have to write capital G only. G is the gravitational universal constant and its value is fixed in whole of the universe, which is this. I am noting it over here. The value of G is this, 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11. What is its unit that I am going to derive with you people right now? Okay. Its unit I am not writing it. Okay, we will derive its unit and it's very easy. What is the value of G? 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11. Once again, the whole law of gravitation, very easy concept. Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. It is acting along the line that is joining their centers, and here it is, the basic diagram. As per the law of gravitation, force is directly proportional to the product of the mass. So F is proportional to m1, m2. Inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, F proportional to 1 by r square. Together when you write 1 and 2, what do you get? F proportional to m1, m2 by r square. Then, once you remove the proportionality sign, what happens? You have to add one constant, and that constant is G over here. And that constant is G over here. Called as universal constant. And what is the value of G? It's this, 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11. I hope that you have understood this concept. Note it down. I am giving you 2 to 3 minutes to note this. After you note this, I will tell you what is the unit of this and we'll try to derive its unit from this formula itself. Formula keep in your brain. F is equals to chi m1 m2 upon r square. m1 is the mass, m2 is also the mass. So we are taking two particular objects. We are having different masses. And what is the distance between them is r. Okay, distance between the centers is r. Quick. You are having exactly 2 minutes to note it. Be quick. Kindly be quick in noting. Be quick in noting. Once you note, be quick in noting. Once you note it, we'll move further on. The value of chi and its unit. If you have not noted it, take the screenshot so that we can move further. Be quick. 2 to 3 seconds. Back again. You can take the print screen. Get it pasted. And here we move further. I am not going to remove this, and this I am going to note it down for you. We are going to talk about this particular G, capital G. Okay, what are we going to talk about? This capital G. What is capital G called as? Capital G. Its value we know that is 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11. What it is generally called as? It is called as universal gravitational constant. And as I said to you, why it is given this name universal gravitational constant? Because the value of this capital G remains fixed in whole of the universe. पूरे ब्रह्मांड में आप कहीं पे भी जाएंगे कैपिटल जी की वैल्यू चेंज होएगी नहीं. Now, how can we derive its unit? We know that F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. This we have learned just now. Just now only we learned this, that F is equals to G m1 m2 by r square. Now from here, make this capital G as subject of the formula. I want this capital G. So what can I write? G is equal to, this r square will come over here, F into r square upon m1 m2. Okay. What is this capital G equal to? F into r square upon m1 m2. I hope you are understanding what I am trying to say. F is equal to G m1 m2 r by r square. If I want only G, what it will be equal to? Fr square upon m1 m2. Now, what is the unit of force? If I want to derive the unit of G, then unit of G will be equal to unit of F multiplied by the unit of r square upon unit of m1 and unit of m2. What is the unit of force? What will be the unit of G? SI unit of capital G is equals to, what is the SI unit of force? I hope that you remember SI unit of force is Newton. R, it is the distance. R square, so it will be the square of the distance. Okay. What is the unit of the distance? SI unit, it's meter. So square of it, so it will be meter square divided by, what is the unit of mass? It's kilogram. The unit of M2, again it's kilogram. So what will be the SI unit of capital G? Newton meter square upon kilogram into kilogram, that is kilogram square. So here you are having the SI unit of capital G as Newton meter square per kilogram square. Okay, the value of capital G was calculated by Henry Cavendish. And the value was fixed, that is this 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Okay. I hope you have understood the content. I am giving you 2 minutes time to note this. Note this much. After that, I will tell you the whole story again. Be quick. Note it for 2 minutes. I hope that you have noted it. Universal gravitational constant. Why it is called as gravitational constant? Because its value is fixed in whole of the universe. That is 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Let's have a quick look at the content of whole of the day. Okay. Which chapter we discussed about today? We discussed with chapter number 3, that is gravitation. What we discussed in this particular lesson? We first discussed the law of gravitation. And that, as I said, you have to learn it and give me the video clip of it. What is the law of gravitation? The law of gravitation is this, that every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. This force is directly proportional to the product of the mass. That means F is proportional to m1, m2. If m1 and m2 are the mass of the objects. Next, force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So, F is proportional to 1 by r square. Together, when you write these two equations, you have F proportional to m1, m2 upon r square. Once you remove the proportionality sign, you have from this equation F as G, m1, m2 upon r square. By using just these three equations, I can write the value of F as G, m1, m2 upon r square. I hope that you are trying to understand what I am going to say. Whenever you are learning, just remember these concepts. Whenever you are learning, जब भी आप learn कर रहे हो तब आपको सिर्फ तीन ही equations learn करने हैं. And you have to try to form the statement on your own. Just once the law is clear, these things will be very clear to you. Because these things are the output from the law. You're understanding what ma'am is saying? These things are to be written from the law itself, and the derivation is coming from the words of the law itself. What is the law? Every object in the universe attracts every other object with some force. That means each and everything that is around us, that is attracting us, and we are attracting them. That force is directly proportional to the product of the mass. So F is proportional to m1, m2. Force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. F proportional to 1 by r square. Then if together you write both these equations, what do you get? You get F proportional to m1, m2 by r square. Here you have to compulsory note the force is acting along the direction of the centers. You have to mention about the force direction. That is truly compulsory. Okay? So F is equals to G m1 m2 upon r square. Then we tried to derive the unit of G. What will be G equal to? F into r square upon m1 m2. This is what G is. Okay, what it is? F into r square upon m1 m2. Value of gravitational constant is force into r square upon m1 m2. Okay. I hope you are trying to understand what I am saying. G is fr square upon m1 m2. What? We derived the unit of G? We derived the unit of G as Newton meter square per kilogram square. What is the SI unit of G, capital G? It's this. That is Newton meter square per kilogram square. Now, value of G, capital G, that also you have to learn. It is this. Value of capital G is this. 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Who was the person who gave this value? It was Henry Cavendish who calculated this value. Okay. So this, just think, the value of G is so small, but still it is having a major impact. And because the value, just think, value of G is 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11. 10 raised to minus 11 means you are dividing by 10 to the power 11. Means 11 zeros are there in the denominator. And so only the force that is exerting between us and the objects that are nearby us is very negligible. Because gravitational force is the weakest force of nature. Imagine if the weakest force can be like this, that it is not allowing anywhere else to fly. Okay, aeroplane is a different thing. Once you are moving at some speed, you can go out of gravity. That we are going to discuss in our topics that are going to come further. But that is a unique concept. Again, it is going to come ahead. Okay. And for a kind information, this lesson, that is gravitation. Again, the lesson that is getting continued in class 11, science stream. Right from the beginning, from today itself, the concepts are again getting repeated over there in class 11. So if you learn it properly over here, not face any kind of problem in your class 11. Your base will be clear. I hope that you understand, that you understood whole of the content that was taught to you today. Okay, and in our next particular session, we are going to discuss about the Kepler's law. Now, what are this Kepler's law? For your kind information, again, Kepler's law are not there in NCERT book, but they are there in Prachi publications, the textbook that we are using. All means in NCERT they have given in that orange box. That is not for the examination. It is only for those who are going to do the further content. So, we will also do that further content in our next particular session. As I said, the Kepler's law of planetary motion, there are 3 laws with individual derivation of one of the third law. Okay, so be ready along with that also. After this, we are having a small concept of centripetal force, and then we are having the Kepler's law. So that's all for the content of the day. I hope that you enjoyed today's session and you have understood the whole of the law. In today's homework, you have to write this law and submit it. So that's the homework of the day. What's homework? It is this: write and learn this derivation of universal law of gravitation. And you also have to send me the video clip of just the law as was promised. So that's all for the content of the day. I hope that you have understood. Thank you and have a very good day all of you. Bye bye.